back end of that bullpen. He's a big frame, about 6'9", 250 pounds, but he doesn't light up the radar gun, but surely somebody at this level that should have pretty good success. I don't know what his workload would be, especially coming off a season-long injury, but it feels like in a situation where you add him to that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning situations, you can be able to count on him because he's thrown at some pretty high levels. He's thrown in AAA before, had a very short stint with the Braves in the major leagues. His first major league strikeout actually came against Michael A. Taylor, who of course is the center fielder at the moment for the Kansas City Royals. But anytime you add a guy with that sort of major league, just getting a taste of the major leagues, surely going to have some form of success in the American Association. So don't know his timetable. I know when we last talked with Joe Calpietra, he mentioned that he was still working through some things, trying to get back there, working hard at it. And we have seen that. A lot of the times before these games, we get a good look of McCreary, going through some of the motions. And today was actually the first day we got to see him throw. And as we like to go back to that, there was no hang up there. It didn't seem to be favoring anything. It was very light bullpen work. Had a few batters step in. So we get some live action there. But for the most part, it seems like he's getting very close to returning to game action. And another guy that can join that bullpen is Kevin Lennick. And Lennick is a guy that started the beginning of the season through, I believe, against Fargo Moorhead. He didn't get too much work in. Should have been just around 3 innings that he got. Actually, only 2 innings. They were pretty successful. He had 3 strikeouts in those 2 innings of work. Didn't allow a run. Didn't allow a hit either. So Lennick is a guy, a little bit of a funky arm in with 3/4 length. He was actually in the Royals minor league system a few years ago. So he's another guy that has been at one of the higher levels, especially on this pitching staff, pitching in AAA for the Omaha Storm Chasers. So Lennick, again, in his bullpen work today, no true hangups. Their stuff appeared to look pretty solid from that angle. So it feels like he, as well as McCreary, are getting close to joining this bullpen, which for the most part has been pretty successful. Last night, they get a great outing from Brock Gilliam, the Washburn kid, and then 2 solid innings from Jamison McGrain, who figures to be a guy that can shift into that back end of the bullpen. But for now, they're still kind of piecing things together. Joe didn't want to truly give McGrain that closer role yet. And I think he just mentioned that, if he comes up in that spot and he's available, they will use him. You're never going to get too much out of him when it comes to solidifying roles for guys, but it definitely feels like McCreary and Lennick can be 2 guys that you slide in to that 6th, 7th, and 8th inning role if you want to go with McGrain in the 9th. And certainly you're going to have to do some roster moves there because you add 2 guys. 2 guys are going to need to move to the inactive list. Tavares was moved there yesterday, but there's still 2 more spots that need to be taken up if McCreary and Lennick are looking to join this team by the end of this year. Again, we do not know for certain when they will be joining this team, but always a good sign when you see bullpen work, no hangups. They both seem to get their full work in. Nobody was cut short. So those are 2 guys right now to certainly keep your eye on. Be sure to listen in to the Top Step with Joe Calpietra that Dan does before every game. Surely we should be getting an update soon on these guys. 2 really effective pitchers that should have success in this bullpen. And as we know, bullpen is what is going to win this team a championship. It's going to be so important when this reaches September and they're going to have to go on the road in those high leverage situations and trust guys. If their starter isn't able to go those 5-6 innings of work, they're going to need to have reliable and trustworthy guys. And it never hurts to have 2 pitchers that have thrown both at AAA for McCreary, even at the major league level. And so with that will wrap up today's edition of the Scouting Report, giving you both McCreary and Kevin Lennick's outlook on the season. Be sure to tune us in next time, and the pregame show continues right after this.
For 129 years, Sheet Metal Workers Local Union Number 2 has been shaping the Kansas City skyline and communities, with Local 2 members working on area hospitals, providing safe, comfortable conditions for doctors to treat their patients. We turn our attention to help in the fight against childhood cancer by supporting Noah's Bandage Project. Sheet Metal Workers Local Union Number 2, working on, in, and for the
Monarchs baseball continues. Time for the night's Coors Light flashback moment, brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. Dateline in Decatur, Illinois. August 7th is the paper, but it's from the 6th report of 1937. The Herald and Review tells us the Monarchs at this time in 1937 doing a barnstorming, playing the Cuban All-Stars there throughout the Midwest. They had been all around the Dakotas and Iowa and Illinois, as we come to read. And the interesting part is not so much the game story, although there's a little bit to be gleaned from the game story. It tells us that the Cuban All-Stars and Kansas City Monarchs put on an interesting exhibition last night at Fans Field. Kind of like that, Fans Field. Fans Field. The park was called Fans Field there in Decatur, Illinois, but basically it tells us they split a doubleheader, and that's not really the big story. I mean, there was a couple things inside of that, but they split a doubleheader yesterday. But what it tells us is folks swapped Thursday to the Monarchs game at Peoria, and the Cubans did an about-face to outplay the Negro team in every department in the second ball game, as they basically split the game, and one played better than the other one. But it goes on to tell us